back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about the fashion industry and the impacts of fast fashion, and make sure you stick around until the end so you can learn how to get involved in the sustainable fashion movement and build a sustainable wardrobe. So what is fast fashion? Fast fashion focuses on speed, low cost, and mass production. Wardrobes in developing nations like America are extremely saturated. Retailers are constantly tempting consumers with newness, and it makes us believe that the clothes that we already have are no longer in style. A lot of the items you see in these stores are really trendy, which means that they won't really last a long time. They are made with extremely cheap synthetic fibers and are constructed really poorly, so this is why your tank top that you bought for $10 is falling apart the second time you wear it. These items are intended to fall apart rather quickly in order for consumers to then go and buy the next new trend. What is the problem with fast fashion? What really brought attention to fast fashion was the Rana Plaza incident in 2013. A garment factory in Bangladesh collapsed, killing 1,100 people. This event brought to light the countless human rights violations across a company's entire supply chain. They are given unlivable wages and are forced to work in really unsafe and hazardous working conditions. The majority of apparel manufacturing is done in developing countries like India and parts of Asia. This is because it is really profitable for these big companies, and it's really cheap for them to move their production overseas. Labor regulations and laws are not enforced in these developing countries, and these big fast fashion companies are capitalizing on it. Zara, Forever 21, Uniqlo, and H&M are just some of the many companies that have been labeled as unethical. These companies have been called out for things such as child labor, not paying their workers, abusing their workers, and not providing them with safe working environments. The environmental impact of fast fashion. The apparel industry is a $2 trillion industry, and it is responsible for 10% of the world's global carbon footprint. At a global level, we consume about 2 billion pieces of clothing every year, and in the US alone, 11 million tons of textile waste ends up in landfills annually. Textile dyeing and the various other chemicals that are used in apparel production is largely responsible for water pollution at a global level. And something that really surprised me was the fact that a lot of these companies are not recycling their clothing, and they are choosing to burn it. The clothes sell and end up sitting in our closets until we decide to donate them. We are under the impression that by donating them, we are helping someone in need. But a lot of the times, once we donate these clothes, they do end up going to developing countries, but then are sold by street vendors, and if they are not sold by these street vendors, they will also end up burning in a landfill. How are brands moving towards sustainability? Adidas released the Future Craft Loop, which was their first 100% recyclable shoe. Converse had a series of sustainable shoes that were made out of recycled bottles and upcycled jeans. But many companies have begun greenwashing. Greenwashing is the act of presenting an ethical or eco-friendly image, but not actually practicing this throughout the production line. The Fashion Revolution Movement. The Fashion Revolution Movement is a global movement for sustainability and ethical fashion. They work together to change the way our clothes are sourced, produced, and consumed. The week of April 24th is Fashion Revolution Week, and it is also the anniversary of the 2013 Rana Plaza disaster. With the help of social media, the Fashion Revolution movement has been able to put sustainability at the forefront of people's minds. And this is really important because not a lot of people know what is going on behind the production lines, let alone who is making their clothes and where they're coming from. On social media, they encourage people to use the hashtag #WhoMadeMyClothes and tagging the brands. They're doing this as a way to call out these big companies for their lack of transparency. Guide to sustainable fashion. Sustainable fashion is the production of apparel with environmental, social, and economic integrity. There are two main pillars to ethical fashion production. All the workers along a brand supply chain are paid fairly and provided with a safe working environment. The way in which the clothing are created and manufactured is done to minimize harm to the environment. So you may be wondering, is sustainable clothing more expensive? And the answer is yes and no. Yes, because the quality is higher and the employees are paid fairly, but no, because they ensure that your clothing will last longer because it is made of a higher quality. Many of us use Zara and Forever 21 to quickly and cheaply find something to wear. But $20 to $40 here and there really starts to add up and fills your wardrobe with trendy clothing that is bound to fall apart. Building a sustainable wardrobe. Building a sustainable wardrobe takes time and requires you to make smart purchasing decisions and invest in versatile items that will last. Secondhand and thrifted clothing is a more cost-effective way to build a sustainable wardrobe. So this means shopping at your local thrift shop or even trading clothes with a friend. But there are a lot of really good companies online, like The Real Real. There is also ThreadUp, where you can send your clothing to them. They'll give you money for it, and it's basically an online thrift store. And you also have things like Poshmark and Depop, which are apps and websites that allow you to sell your clothing yourself. There are also a lot of companies that now allow shoppers to rent instead of buy. And this means that you're purchasing a subscription which allows you to receive clothing in the mail, and then you can either trade it in for something else, or if you really like something, you can then purchase it to keep it. Some websites that I would recommend for this is Rent the Runway and Nuuly, which is run by Urban Outfitters. So whether you have already started your journey towards building a sustainable wardrobe, or if you just wanted to start and take an initiative, check out the links in the description box below, where I listed all the sustainable companies that I mentioned in this video, as well as a few others. So I hope that you were able to learn something new and insightful about the fashion industry, and comment down below if you have any other sustainable companies that you really enjoy, and any questions or thoughts that you have about the video. Thanks for watching.